The story began in 2001 when a basketball final match was taking place at Beijing High School. A boy named Young, who was known as the best player, was getting advice from his coach. The coach told him that if he played well that day, it would be great for his future. He might get into Korea's top university, and from there he could even make it to the national team. Before the match started, Young's girlfriend Dawn came to meet him. They talked about something that left Young visibly disturbed. During the match, he was unable to concentrate as his mind kept returning to whatever Dawn had said earlier. Unable to bear it, he left the match halfway and ran to her. Dawn started crying because the match was extremely important for his future and he had walked out of it. She told him that she shouldn't have said anything before the game, but Young told her that the match wasn't important. She was. He asked her to stop crying. It was then revealed that Dawn was pregnant. 18 years later, Young was shown as a 36-year-old man staying over at his friend Jin's place. He shared that he and Dawn had been married for 18 years, but their relationship had been falling apart lately. They had been fighting and she wanted a divorce, although Young didn't know the reason. Despite the fights, he didn't want a divorce because he still loved her. Jin remarked that if she wanted a divorce and wasn't giving a reason, it probably meant she was having an affair. Young told him not to talk nonsense and insisted that everything would be fine once he got his promotion. Young worked as an electronics repairman. While he enjoyed the work, he often ended up getting scolded by customers even when it wasn't his fault. He had twin children, a daughter named Sia and a son named Sam, both in high school. He often dealt strictly with them and gave lectures on various things whenever they were together, which was why the kids never really shared anything from their personal lives with him. Young once asked Sam why he no longer played basketball, since he used to love it as a kid. Sam explained that he wasn't interested anymore. Both kids were aware that their mother wanted to divorce their father. Young told them not to worry about the divorce, assuring them that he would take care of everything. He was confident that once he got promoted, their mom wouldn't leave him. Just then, Sia's friend came to pick her up. She was wearing heavy makeup, and seeing that, Young started lecturing her too, asking if she went to school to study or to win a beauty contest. Meanwhile, Dawn got fired from her job. Her position was handed over to someone else because the night before, the company's director had tried to take advantage of a girl, and Dawn had intervened, ruining his plans. The director didn't state a clear reason for her termination, but Dawn understood why she was let go. Later, all the employees believed Young would be promoted to manager, but the director gave the promotion to his own nephew. Everyone was shocked and realized that connections mattered more than merit. The director then informed Young that he was being transferred to another city. That night, during the company dinner, Young called the director aside to speak. He asked why he wasn't promoted despite working for 5 years. The director made excuses, saying it was because Young didn't have a university degree. Young said he understood, but requested not to be transferred to Busan. He mentioned that his relationship with his wife wasn't going well, and if he moved away, their marriage would end. The director ignored his request and even made hurtful remarks about his family. This enraged Young, and he ended up confronting the director, scolding and even hitting him. He declared that he was quitting immediately and walked away. When Dawn came home, she found Young standing outside. From his face, she realized he hadn't received the promotion. She told him that even if he had, it wouldn't have changed her decision. Their first divorce mediation was scheduled for the next day. Young said he didn't want the divorce, but Dawn said nothing and walked inside. Young was heartbroken, feeling like he had failed at everything. He wandered around and ended up at Shrim High School, where he used to study. He had been one of the best basketball players and also a good student. As he entered the basketball court, memories came flooding back. He remembered standing there with Dawn years ago, when he had told her that if he made a basket, she would have to grant him a wish. He had thrown the ball and said, "Let's date," and the ball had gone in. Now he tried to shoot several times but couldn't score even once, as it had been years since he played. Exhausted, he decided to try one last time. He told himself that if he made the basket, his wish would come true. He wanted to return to his youth. As he threw the ball and it was about to go in, the lights went out. When they came back on, he stood there confused, wondering whether the ball went in or not. Just then, the watchman arrived and Young ran away. Feeling hungry, he went to a convenience store to buy noodles and beer. Sia worked there part-time. She asked for his ID since he was buying beer. Now, Young looked young again, just like he had 18 years ago. When he looked properly and saw Sia working there, he was shocked. He scolded her, asking what she was doing there instead of being in her study room. Sia asked who he was. Hearing this, Young got even more angry because she spoke informally to him and refused to recognize him. The store manager came and asked what was going on, Young told her not to interfere and that it was a family matter. He told her that he was Sia's father. Upon hearing this, Sia became furious and started swearing at him. Young said, "How can you curse at your own father? How dare you lie and pretend not to know me? Come outside, I need to talk to you." As he stepped outside, he caught a glimpse of himself in the glass and was stunned. He couldn't understand what was happening to him, how he had started looking young again. He began behaving erratically and Sia assumed he was mentally unstable. He then went to Jin's house, but even his friend didn't recognize him and assumed he was a thief. He attacked him. Young kept insisting he was Young, his friend, but Jin didn't believe him. During the scuffle, Young got injured and fainted. Jin then looked at an old photo in the house and compared it to Young, which left him shocked. When Young regained consciousness, they sat down to talk. Young explained everything, how he went to school, what he did, and how he turned young again, even though he didn't know how it happened. Jin was also stunned. They went back to the school. Jin tried making a basket himself but failed. He remarked that making a shot after so many years was difficult, and told Young he deserved that wish. He told him to be happy. He had become young again. He could now live his life all over again, and fulfill the dreams that were left incomplete when he was 18. Young thought about it, because his dream was to become a great basketball player. Young told Jin to become his father for his admission. The next day, Daeon was at the court for the divorce proceedings, but Young didn't appear, because of which the date got postponed. Young went shopping with Jin and bought a lot of items, including a school uniform for himself. When he checked his phone, he saw missed calls from Daeon. He texted her saying something urgent had come up and that was the reason he couldn't make it to court. Reading the message, Daeon became very angry and wondered what could be more important than a divorce. Just then, she received a message from JPC Company, a news channel where she had applied for an announcer job. She found out she had cleared the written test and was now being called for an interview, which made her extremely happy. That night, Young and Jin stood outside Daeon's house, planning to tell her the truth. When she arrived, they both hid. Daeon was on a phone call with her friend and her smiling face clearly showed how happy she was. She mentioned that this called for a celebration. When she went inside, Young wondered aloud who celebrated their divorce. Jin reminded him again that he was sure Daeon was having an affair. Young questioned how she could cheat on him. Jin advised him to forget her and start living his life. Young agreed that he was right, especially now that his children were grown up and he too should live for himself. The next day, Jin went to get Young admitted into school and claimed legally that he was his son. When they arrived at the teacher's office, Jin saw Miss Eugene and fell for her at first sight. When she asked them why they were there, Jin nervously explained that he had a son without marriage and quickly added that he was still single and very rich. He tried to impress her, but Miss Eugene found his behavior very strange. Jin even said some weird things, so Young told him to calm down. Then Young himself talked about the admission and got it done. His new name became Ko Woo Young. Before leaving, Young extended a handshake to the teacher, while Jin tried to hug her. Embarrassed, Young pulled him away and apologized for his behavior. The next day, Miss Eugene came into the class and informed the students that a new student was joining. As Young entered, all the girls were captivated by his handsome looks. He introduced himself as Ko Woo Young. Sia was in the same class but was asleep. Her friend woke her up, asking her to look at the handsome new boy. Sia looked up and recognized him as the crazy man from the store a few days ago who behaved like a lunatic. She became furious and cursed at him, confusing all the students who couldn't understand what was wrong with her. Young sat at his desk but kept looking at Sia, which made her uneasy, as she wondered why that lunatic had come to her class. Meanwhile, Daeon reached the JBC office and gave a very impressive interview. Back in the classroom, the teacher was teaching when Young got a call from Daeon. He couldn't answer inside the class, so he walked out without asking. The teacher asked where he was going and he replied he was going to the bathroom, which surprised the teacher, who commented on his rudeness. Outside, Young picked up the call and Daeon said sarcastically that he finally found time to answer. He told her that he had to rush to Busan for an urgent business trip and apologized for missing court. Daeon warned him that if he didn't show up for the second session, she would assume he didn't want custody of the children. Young reassured her that he would be there. When he went to the bathroom, he found a student locked inside calling out for help. He opened the door and was shocked to see his son Sam inside. He realized Sam was being bullied at school. Angry, he asked who did it. Sam asked who he was and if they had ever met. Young introduced himself as Ko Woo Young, the son of his father's best friend Jin. Sam said he never heard about Jin having a son because he wasn't married. Young told him Jin was married but his mother wanted to keep it a secret. Sam thanked him for helping and warned him not to tell anyone about it as the bullies might trouble him too. When Young asked who they were, Sam told him he would find out on his own and left. At lunch, Sam was sitting alone in the canteen when Young came and sat beside him. He asked why he was being bullied, but Sam told him to mind his own business. Just then the bully gang entered the canteen. Sam looked frightened and started hiding his face, making it clear to Young that they were the ones bullying him. Among them was a boy named Jason. Seeing someone sitting with Sam, he teased him about having a new friend. He hit Sam on the head with a ball and walked away. Young got angry and shouted at him to stop, saying he wanted to talk. All the students were shocked that on his first day, Young picked a fight with the wrong student. Jason got angry and threw the ball at him, but he caught it, surprising everyone. When she asked for the ball back, he scared him with it. Sia, Sam and the other students were stunned that someone stood up to Jason, who was known to be the most feared student in school. Then the story shifted to the past. Daeon was pregnant and wanted to keep the baby. Both their parents were against it and wanted her to abort so the couple could complete their education and secure a better future. They both knew that having the baby would ruin their education and make life hard. But they still chose to keep the baby. After they got married and had children, Daeon stayed home to take care of them while Young did multiple part-time jobs to support the family. Those were very difficult times for them. They couldn't pay rent on time and were scolded by the landlady every month. They didn't even have money for hospital treatment when they got sick. But they never gave up and kept going. They decided they would never regret choosing this path. In the present, Daeon was at the JBC office giving her interview, impressing everyone. Back to the school when Young discovered that Sam was being bullied. As Sam left, Young tried to follow him, but Sia and her group stopped him and took him to the rooftop. Sia acted like a tough girl and tried to scare him. Young asked her if she knew her brother Sam was being bullied. Sia reacted in shock and asked if Sam was being bullied again. From her words, Young realized she already knew. He got angry and questioned why she didn't tell their dad. Sia replied that such things weren't meant to be told to parents. She then warned him not to mess with her, even though he had come to the school, saying that if he didn't listen to her, things wouldn't go well for him. Seeing this aggressive side of his daughter left Young stunned. He began to question if she really was his daughter, because as a child, she used to be incredibly kind. Actually, in the canteen, Young used Jason's own ball to scare him and humiliated him badly in front of everyone, asking him to apologize to Sam. Jason became very angry and tried to punch Young, but just then the teacher arrived. So Jason stopped himself and took his ball before leaving. Since Young stood by Sam and was ready to fight for him, Sam became quite impressed by him and really liked it. Young stayed furious because he found out that his son was being bullied, so he felt like smoking. He decided to go to a secret spot where students usually went to smoke. Then, a flashback showed how Jin used to get bullied by a boy and it was Young who once saved him, after which they became best friends. In the present, when Young reached the smoking area, he saw a girl smoking there. When he realized that the girl was none other than his daughter Sia, he was extremely shocked. He started yelling at her for coming to school and doing such things, and asked how she could even think of smoking. Sia noticed that the teacher was approaching, so she quickly ran away. Young couldn't spot the teacher in time, so he got caught. He was stunned to see that the teacher was Choi Won, the same guy who used to bully Jin in school. Choi Won scolded Young a lot because he saw a cigarette packet in his hand and understood that Young had come there to smoke. Choi Won said he saw someone else there with him and, since it was his first day at school, offered to forgive him if he told who it was. Young revealed that it was Sia, hoping she would stop smoking if she got scolded. Choi Won had promised to let Young go but didn't do so, which made Young very angry. He left both students with another teacher and walked away. The other teacher started scolding both of them, saying that they shouldn't be doing it. He also kept hitting Sia on the head with a file. Young caught the teacher's hand and said he could scold as much as he wanted, but hitting a girl wasn't right. The teacher got furious and said that not only was he caught making a mistake, but now he was telling the teacher what to do. The teacher, who was earlier going to let them off with just a scolding and light punishment, now got angrier and told Miss Eugene to call both of their parents. Sia started getting really angry with Young, but couldn't do anything in front of the teacher. When Daeon arrived, Young tried to hide his face, fearing she might recognize him. Daeon found out that Sia was caught smoking and was already shocked, but when she saw Young, she was even more stunned. She went near him, touched his face and kept looking at him carefully. Young stayed extremely nervous that she might figure out who he was. Daeon said he looked exactly like someone, and started acting very strangely, which shocked both Sia and Miss Eugene. Ms. Eugene stepped in and pulled her back. Sia told her mother to stop touching him and asked who he looked like. Dion said he looked just like her dad. Sia told her to stop saying nonsense. Just then, Jin also arrived, and Miss Eugene got worried that he might start behaving strangely again. Jin went to the teacher and said it was nice to meet her again, and introduced himself as an unmarried father completely single. Daeon asked him what he was doing there. When she learned that Young was his son, she was even more shocked. Miss Eugene asked Sia and Young to go back to class. After talking to the teacher, Jin and Daeon were to leave when Choi-won appeared. Seeing him made Jin uncomfortable since he got bullied by him. They both learned that Chi-won worked as a PE teacher in the same school. Jin didn't want to talk to him and angrily walked away. Meanwhile, Choi-won and Dawn had a long conversation where it was revealed that Dawn was Choi-won's first love. After school, when all the students were going home, Sia told her friend she needed to go to work quickly. Young overheard this and asked her if she was going to her part-time job again. He asked why she even needed one. Sia said what she did was none of his concern. Young said if she needed money, she could ask her parents, so what was the need to earn now? Sia said there was something she wanted to do and was earning money for that. Saying this, she left. Young then asked Sia's best friend Jiho why she was doing a part-time job and what she wanted to do. Jiho said he knew but couldn't tell him and walked away too. Young also saw Sam walking and decided to follow him. Sam reached a place and started playing basketball alone, which surprised Young since his mom had said Sam wasn't interested in basketball. But now he realized that Sam actually wanted to play. Young called him and first asked if he was okay. Then he asked if he liked playing basketball. He said if Sam wanted to play he would support him completely. But Sam replied that he wasn't interested. Young asked if there was any problem in school, if anyone was bullying him. Sam said there wasn't and told him not to worry. Young felt hurt that his son wasn't sharing anything with him. He told Sam that if he ever faced a problem he could talk to him, he would always be there. Hearing this, Sam felt a little better. Young came in front of him as Ko Woo-young and started playing basketball with him. When Sia returned home, Daeon scolded her angrily for smoking at such a young age. A heated argument took place between them and Sia stormed off angrily. A while later, Young dropped Sam home. Daeon came out to throw the trash and apologized to Woo-young for what happened in school. Meanwhile at drinks, Young had learned a lot about his kids that day and wanted to stay closer to them. Daeon and her friend Aaron were also out for drinks, and they ran into Choi-won, who told them the bar was run by his brother and he was just helping out. Choi-won overheard them and came to know that Daeon was getting divorced. After drinks, when they were about to leave, Choi-won offered to drop them home and went to get his car. Daeon stepped out for a walk. She was about to get into an accident, but Young arrived just in time and saved her. They both asked each other what they were doing there. Just then, Aaron and Choi-won also arrived. Choi-won was surprised to see Young and asked what he was doing there. Young asked him the same. Choi-won replied that he met some old friends and was dropping them home. Young didn't feel good that Choi-won was dropping Daeon home, so he asked if they could drop him too, since it was already late. Aaron agreed and said they could take him along. On the way, Daeon told Choi-won and Aaron that Ko Woo-young was Jin's son. Both of them were shocked to hear this. Choi-won began speaking badly about Young, so he started praising himself. He said that he used to be the best player in school and mentioned all that he achieved. While doing so, he indirectly insulted Choi-won by referring to how he was during his school days. Daeon appeared quite surprised and asked how he knew so much about Young. He replied that Uncle Young told him and mentioned that he even taught him how to play basketball. He added that he wanted to become a great player just like him. After some time they reached Daeon's house and Young also got off there. Young began waiting for a taxi and Daeon stayed there with him. She told him that she knew he had been drinking but chose not to say anything earlier because the teachers were around. However, she reminded him that he shouldn't be drinking at this age. She pointed out that becoming a great player required a lot of hard work. She said Uncle Young also worked extremely hard, never smoked or drank, and always took great care of his health. She knew all this because she was with him during that time and had seen everything with her own eyes. She said she only wanted to advise him to stay away from bad habits and take care of his health if he truly wanted to become a good player. Listening to this made Young feel very good. After a while, a taxi arrived and Young left. The next day, while Daeon was jogging, she kept wondering how Ko Woo-young could look so much like Young. She recalled that even Aaron and Choi-won couldn't believe it. When she got home, she looked at an old photo of Young and questioned how such a thing could be possible. As Young was about to leave for school, Daeon arrived at Jin's house, visibly angry. She walked up to him and told him that he was Young. Hearing this, both Jin and Young were shocked. The scene then shifted to 2001, where Dawn was walking while listening to music and wasn't paying attention to the road, nearly getting into an accident. But Young appeared just in time and saved her. This was their first meeting. Both stared at each other. Daeon thanked him for saving her. Later she transferred to Young's school from another school. Seeing her, Young was surprised. She was assigned the seat next to him. Upon seeing Young, Dawn recognized him and said she was happy to meet him again, and introduced herself as Dawn. Standing in front of him and talking made Young blush, his cheeks turning red. Daeon was very beautiful, and many boys used to chase after her, but she never paid attention to anyone. Except for Young. One day after school, when Dawn was about to go home, it started raining heavily, and she became upset, as she didn't have an umbrella. Several boys approached her offering to walk her home, but she didn't feel comfortable going with them. When Young saw this, he asked if she would like to go with him, and Daewon said yes, which made him very happy. Although he didn't have an umbrella either, Daewon felt very happy walking with him. In fact, when they first met, both of them felt love at first sight. In the present, as Young was leaving for school, Daeon appeared and approached him, saying he was Young's son. Hearing this, Young and Jin felt slightly relieved because she didn't recognize Young. Daeon asked Jin to tell her the truth, questioning if Ko Young was really Young's son because he looked exactly like him. She said she was even ready to accept that he had a son without getting married. But accepting that Jin's son looked exactly like Young was hard to believe. She asked again for the truth. Young signaled Jin to say something. Jin, lost in thought, finally said that Ko Young's mother looked exactly like Young, which is why the boy resembled him. Daeon dismissed it as a ridiculous excuse and asked if he couldn't come up with anything better. She declared that if they wouldn't tell her the truth, she would just call Young and ask him directly. She dialed the number, but since Young was right there, he obviously couldn't answer. Jin quickly asked him if she wasn't getting late for school. Young stepped out of the house and picked up the call. Daeon asked if he knew Ko Young, and Young confirmed that he was Jin's son. She said Ko Young looked exactly like him and pressed him to tell the truth, asking if the boy was really his son. Young got angry and told her not to talk nonsense. She argued that if it wasn't true, then why did Jin's son look exactly like him? Young replied that Ko Young's mother looked exactly like him. He somehow managed to convince Daeon that Ko Young was Jin's son. After reaching school, Young decided to pay more attention to his children and try to become friends with them. After school, Sia was about to leave for home, but it began raining and she didn't bring an umbrella, leaving her unsure of how she would go. Seeing her, Young quickly understood the situation and went to the store to buy 2 umbrellas. As Sia began walking in the rain, Young arrived with an umbrella and surprised her. Although she refused to take it at first, he handed it to her and walked away. Sia was left wondering why he did that. Later, Young entered Sam's class and left an umbrella on his desk. When Sam came to collect his bag, he was surprised to see the umbrella and thought that maybe Sia had left it. The next day, Daeon went shopping with Erin when she received a message saying that she had passed the JBC interview, meaning she got the announcer's job. She became extremely happy. At school, Young asked Sam to go for lunch. Sam refused at first, but Young insisted and took him along. When they returned after lunch, Daewon appeared and told Sam that she got the announcer job at JBC, which made Sam extremely happy. Among all of them, it was Young who seemed the happiest. Then the focus shifted to Sia and Jiho, where Jiho was explaining to her that she shouldn't stay upset with her mom and that everything could be resolved if she apologized. It became clear that they had been friends for 10 years, and Jiho liked Sia, but he never expressed his feelings to her. Sia climbed up on the wall and started walking, but her foot slipped, and she was about to fall when Jiho managed to catch her just in time. Both of them ended up very close, and their hearts started racing, but they controlled themselves and quietly walked away. The next day, when Daeon was about to leave for her job, Sia apologized to her and tried to make things right, which made Daeon feel really happy. As she stepped outside the house, Young arrived to pick up Sam. Daeon wore a very short skirt, which Young didn't like, so he commented that it looked a bit too short for her first day of work. Daeon agreed with him and said she thought he was right. As she turned back to change, Young wished her good luck for her job. When Daeon reached the office, her first day went just okay. Days started passing, and everyone who was hired along with her got a chance to anchor, but Daeon still didn't get any opportunity. That made her a little upset, but she stayed hopeful that she would get her chance soon. Meanwhile, at school, Young noticed that Jason was still bullying Sam, so he approached Jason and challenged him to a basketball match, and he accepted. The condition was that if Young won, Jason would stop bullying Sam forever, and if Jason won, he would punch Young 10 times. Everyone around was convinced that Jason would win the match because he was part of the school's basketball team. The match began and Young chose Sam as his partner. Their teamwork was excellent and they played really well together, which helped them win the match. Once again, Jason got humiliated in front of everyone. Through that match, Young protected Sam from being bullied, and also helped him realize how good he actually was at basketball. After many years, Young saw Sam laughing freely, which brought him great joy. Sia was also there to watch the match, and seeing her brother win made her extremely happy. When Young saw Sia, he waved and said hello, but Sia blushed and didn't respond. Later, Sam and Young were seen sitting together, talking. Young told him that he played amazingly well that day and asked why he didn't usually play basketball even though he was so good at it. He asked if Sam would become his partner, but Sam didn't reply. That night, a baseball match was happening in a stadium. A player named Hoon, who was very famous, was playing. Young, Sam and Jin were watching the match together. Hoon's team played really well and won, and Hoon became the top performer. Young was a huge fan of Hoon and never missed any of his matches. During the post-match presentation, Daeon was seen as the announcer. Since it was her first assignment, she felt extremely nervous. Hoon told her not to be nervous and reassured her that she would handle everything well. Then he noticed that one of his teammates was preparing to pour water on Daeon as a prank, something he regularly did with every announcer. Hoon signaled him not to do it, but the teammate didn't listen. As the presentation began, Young and Sam were surprised to see Daeon on TV and felt very happy. At that moment, the player came and splashed water on Daeon, saying he intended to splash it on Hoon. All of this was broadcast live on television. Watching this made Young furious at the player. If it were any other announcer, she might have left the post-match presentation in wet clothes. But Daeon didn't do that. She handled the situation very professionally, continued with the presentation, and completed it successfully. Hoon was deeply impressed with Daeon because she didn't panic and did her job perfectly. Seeing his mom so confident gave Sam a little confidence too. He asked Young if he could play basketball with him. Young told him that of course he could. Young was extremely happy with Sam's decision. When Daeon was leaving the office for home, she ran into Hoon. They had a short conversation. While traveling home by bus, Daeon received a message from Sia saying that she was trending as the #1 topic online. Daeon quickly checked the internet and found the post-match presentation video going viral. She really was trending. She was shocked to see the video spreading so fast, and people were commenting a lot, praising her. When Daeon got off at the bus stop, she saw Young standing there. Seeing him surprised her. Her clothes were still wet, so Young took off his jacket and put it on her. He was clearly concerned for her, and that made Daeon feel very good. Everything seemed to be going well in Dawn's office until someone left a comment on the post-match video, saying that Daeon was pregnant at the age of 18, that she was married and had 2 children. That comment went viral and people started posting negative things about Daeon. The next day, when Young found out about the comment, he became very angry. That news had already spread throughout the school. When Young entered the classroom, he saw Jason watching the post-match video and talking badly about Daeon, saying that her character wasn't good and that Sia would end up just like her. Hearing all that made Young furious, and he was about to hit Jason, but Jiho started hitting him first because Sia was his friend, and he couldn't bear to hear anyone speak badly about her or her mother. Seeing the two of them fighting surprised everyone, including Young. Since Jason was better at fighting, he started beating Jiho badly. That's when Young came and grabbed Jason's hand to stop him. The flashback shows that Daeon was at work and called Young to tell him to drop Sia and Sam at kindergarten. Young picked them up, played with them for a while and dropped them at school. Later, when he was at work, Daeon called again to say she would be late, so Young went to pick up the kids from kindergarten. It was raining heavily, and Young was seen covering the kids with the umbrella while getting soaked himself. Back to the present, Young held his hand to stop him. At that moment, Jiho started hitting Jason back. A teacher saw both of them fighting and told them to come to the teacher's office. When Sia arrived at school, she saw Jiho and Jason walking with the teacher. They both were injured, but she couldn't understand what had happened. The teacher scolded them very harshly for fighting and asked why they fought, but both remained silent. Then Choi-won came in and said that nowadays fights among kids were quite normal, and told the teacher to leave it to him. Meanwhile, people were posting negative comments online about Daeon. And this made the director at JPC very worried as it was affecting the company's image. So the director instructed the manager to trouble Daeon enough that she would resign on her own. After that, the manager began assigning her petty tasks that were usually meant for low-level staff. Daeon herself was quite disturbed by those negative comments. She also knew that Sam and Sia must be facing trouble at school because of all this, so she messaged them to ask if they were okay. They told her they were fine, but Daeon was aware that nothing was really fine. Sia found out from her friends what had happened in class and she became very angry. She punched Jason hard in the stomach and warned him that if he said anything about her mom again or bullied her brother Sam, things would go badly for him and she would make sure of it. Jiho's face was bruised, so Young gave him an ice pack, which Jiho placed over his wound. When Sia came to class, she messaged Jiho, asking whether he was okay, and told him to meet her at the convenience store after class. Then Jason entered the classroom and saw Jiho looking at Sia, and he didn't like that. That night, all JPC employees went out for a team dinner, and Hoon along with his teammates were also present. The player who had thrown water on Daeon apologized to her and she forgave him. The director introduced Hoon to a girl named Hongju, another announcer who joined the company with Daeon. He told Hoon that from now on Hongju would conduct his interviews, but Hoon refused, saying he wanted Ms. Daeon to interview him instead. The director couldn't deny him, so he agreed. Meanwhile, Sam and Young were practicing basketball, but Sam looked quite upset because everyone at school was talking about his mom, and he didn't like it. He was also very worried about her. Young explained that he shouldn't worry so much, that people would forget about it in a few days and everything would return to normal. He also told him that if he was really worried about his mom, he should call her and tell her that everything would be alright, which would make her feel better. Later, Sam went home and called his mom to ask how she was doing. This made Dawn feel very happy. Just then Hoon came out, and Daeon asked if he really wanted to do the interview with her. Hoon replied asking what she thought, whether he was joking inside. He had supported her earlier, so Daeon thanked him, and also told him not to do something like that again in the future. At the store, Sia told Jiho that she could take care of herself, and asked him not to do such things again. A past scene was shown where some boys were bullying Jiho and making fun of him for not having a father. And Sia arrived and stood up for Jiho, scolding those boys and warning them that if they bullied him again she would beat them all up. She grabbed Jiho's hand and began walking away with him. But one of the boys, again, mocked Jiho about his father. That made Sia furious and she beat up the boy. Recalling all this, Jiho smiled. Seeing that, Sia joked that it looked like he had lost his mind after getting beaten up. Then she applied a bandage to his wound, which made Jiho feel very good. As Sia got busy with her work, Young arrived at the store. He bought food and told Sia that it was for her. He said it didn't matter why she was doing that job, but she should eat properly and take care of herself and go home safely after finishing work. Saying this, he left, leaving Sia surprised and lost in thought about why he did that. Jiho, on the other hand, started feeling a bit jealous. Later, the director was forcing Damon's colleagues to drink, even though they didn't want to. Because it was the director insisting, they were drinking unwillingly, and this made Daeon uncomfortable, so she approached them and told her colleagues to leave. Then she sat beside the director and made a special drink for him while pretending that she too was drinking. She handled the situation very well. Watching all this, Hoon became even more impressed and kept looking at Daeon the entire time. After the dinner, when Daeon was about to leave for home, Hoon approached her and casually started talking. He flirted with her indirectly and, using the interview as an excuse, asked for her phone number. While going home in a taxi, Hoon checked the internet to see the comments on Damon's video. He didn't like the comments, so he posted one himself saying he had watched the video again and thought the announcer looked really cool. Meanwhile, as Daeon was returning home, two goons misbehaved with her on the street. Just then Young arrived and taught them a lesson, then he offered to walk Daeon home. She asked him why he was out so late, and Young replied that he came to see someone. Upon reaching her house, Daeon told him to go back. As she was about to enter, Young told her not to give up, that her dream had finally come true, and she should now focus on her work. He told her he would take care of Sam and Sia and would always be there for them. Hearing this made Daeon feel very happy. As Daeon was entering the house, she noticed some letters had arrived. She picked them up and went inside. Among them was Young's resignation certificate, and seeing it left Daeon completely shocked. The next day Daeon went to take Hoon's interview. Some players were practicing behind them, and a ball was about to hit Daeon, but Hoon caught it in time. Daeon then continued her interview, saying that it was going quite well. Meanwhile at school, all the students were gathered for the physical education class when Sia's stomach started hurting badly, and she fainted and collapsed. Seeing this, Young became very worried and picked Sia up on his back, rushing to take her to the hospital. Hoon and Daeon were talking when Daeon received a call from Miss Eugene, who informed her about Sia's condition. Daeon immediately left for the hospital. The doctors explained that due to stress, Sia was experiencing stomach cramps and that there was nothing to be afraid of, she would recover with rest. Young sat beside her, gently stroked her head and commented that she had truly grown up now, but he wondered what kind of stress she was dealing with at such a young age. At that moment, Sia regained consciousness and asked him what he was doing. She removed his hand and questioned why he was sitting next to her. Young told her that he was the one who brought her there, and asked if she didn't remember. Sia expressed shock, and said that if it was true he should have quietly left. She angrily asked how he dared to touch her, and whether he wanted to die by her hands. Meanwhile, Aaron and Jin were seen together, as they both worked in the same building. Aaron, being a lawyer, owned her own law firm, and Jin worked at a gaming company. Jin received a call from Young and learned that Sia was unwell and hospitalized. At the same time, Jin heard Ms. Eugene's voice in the background and understood that she was at the hospital with Young, which made him decide to go there as well. Ji-ho messaged Sia and informed her that he was covering her shift at the store, which made Sia feel very good. A little later, Jin and Aaron arrived at the hospital, and Jin brought a bouquet not for Sia but for Miss Eugene. Jin asked Sia if she was doing fine and then asked Young about Miss Eugene's whereabouts, making it clear to Sia why he had actually come. Aaron brought juice for Sia, but Young informed her that due to stomach cramps Sia couldn't drink juice right now. At that moment, Daewon also arrived and asked Sia how she was feeling and whether she was okay. Seeing the three of them there, she asked why they were all there, and Aaron replied that since Sia was unwell, how could they not come? Sia then told Young that now that her mom was here, he could leave. Daewon came to know that it was Young who had brought Sia to the hospital, so she thanked him. Aaron and Young started drinking juice, and Dawn joked that Jin had raised his son so well that they might as well become in-laws. Shocked by this, both Aaron and Young accidentally spit juice on Jin's face. At that very moment, Miss Eugene walked in and was stunned to see Jin in that state. Jin, embarrassed, ran away crying. Later, Daewon came to pay the hospital bill and found out someone had already paid it. Just then, she received a message from Choi-won, informing her that he had already paid the bill and she shouldn't worry, just go home and rest. Knowing that Choi-won paid the bill didn't make Taeyeon feel good. She also felt troubled by the fact that Young had resigned from his job without telling her and was lying about working in Busan. She called Young and asked where he was. Young replied that he had already informed her he was working in Busan, so where else would he be? Daewon told him that Sia was sick and hospitalized. Although Young already knew, he pretended to be surprised and said not to worry, Sia would recover soon. Daewon angrily questioned how he could not be concerned when his daughter was sick and asked whether he couldn't even come to see her. She asked if any father behaved like that. She reminded him that whenever something happened, he never came. Either he was too tired or too busy. She accused him of never being there when needed, and told him not to worry about them anymore, because they didn't need him. Young went up to the hospital rooftop furious. He said that if they thought he was never there, then he would wait to see what they would say once they found out that he was Young. Meanwhile, Ji-ho came to meet Sia and both of them started talking on the rooftop. Ji-ho said they had been friends for years, yet she never shared her problems with him. He told her he couldn't fix her problems, but he could at least listen. He encouraged her to talk to him whenever things became difficult. Sia liked hearing that and agreed, saying they should do that. She then shared that her mom pretended everything was fine, but it wasn't. She thought her mom would finally be happy after getting her dream job, but problems still haunted her. Sia said this must be a very difficult time for her mom, who was keeping everything bottled up. She even said that sometimes she felt her mom had made a mistake by marrying her dad. Ji-ho asked why she hated her dad so much. Sia replied that, as he could see, her dad didn't even show up today when she was sick. She said that whenever they needed him, he was never there. Young, hearing all this, felt heartbroken and quietly walked away. Sia continued, saying her parents were getting divorced and whenever they fought, she felt it was her fault, as they had chosen to keep her. Now that they were divorcing, it seemed like it was because of her. She said maybe she should never have been born, and if she weren't there, perhaps their lives would have been better. She didn't want them to divorce, even if it was for her sake. They should stay together. Saying all this made her emotional. Meanwhile, Young was seen lost in thought, reflecting on everything Daewon and Sia had said. He looked extremely sad. Just then, Daewon messaged him, saying their final divorce session was in 2 days, and she hoped he would end it properly. 2 days later, Daewon was sitting in court, waiting for Young when he arrived. Seeing him, she was shocked and wondered why Young was there. A flashback showed that Daewon had gone to the movies with Choi-won, her friend, which made Young upset. Daewon tried to calm him down, but he refused to listen. Realizing it was a misunderstanding, Daewon confessed her feelings, saying she loved him. Hearing that, Young came closer and asked why she said it first. He had wanted to be the one to say it. He also told her that she was his first love, and Daewon became very happy to hear that. Also the day when Daewon told Young she wanted a divorce. Looking at the divorce papers, Young asked why she said that. He had wanted to say something first. Hearing that, Daewon was stunned. Young said, "See, it's not funny, right? So stop joking." But Daewon replied seriously that she wasn't joking. Young apologized, and Daewon asked why he was apologizing when he didn't even know what his mistake was. She said his sorry had no meaning. As she turned to leave, Young shouted, asking how he would know if she didn't tell him. The two of them got into a heated argument and fought with each other intensely. In the present, Young went to a bar where Jin was drinking. After noticing the sadness on Young's face, Jin asked him what the matter was. Young replied that Daewon told him she no longer needed him. Jin told Young that since Daewon was now living her life well, he should try to do the same. He then asked if Young would go for the final divorce session. Young responded that he wouldn't go. The next day, while Jin was shaving in the bathroom, he again asked Young if he really wouldn't go for the final session. Young said that he couldn't possibly go. If his family came to know that he had become Young and had been lying to them all this time, things would only get worse. Jin agreed and said Young made the right decision. He reminded him that Daewon said she didn't need him and insisted that it was just an excuse and that she definitely was having an affair. Young responded angrily, saying Jin started talking nonsense again, because he didn't think that was true. When Young reached the school, he brought Sia's favorite food so she could have breakfast, which surprised her. She shared the food with her friends and ate it together with them. Jiho also brought the same food for Sia, but Young gave it to her first, which made Jiho feel a bit jealous. Daewon went viral again, and now the number of negative comments about her began decreasing. Daewon told her manager that she wanted to leave for the next day. When the manager asked for the reason, she explained that she was getting divorced. Hearing this, the manager was shocked. Her colleague Hong overheard this, and since she was quite jealous of Daewon for all the fame and attention she was receiving, it didn't sit well with her. At school, during Choiwon's period, he asked everyone to do self-study, but Young kept thinking why Daewon wanted to divorce him and what the reason could be. He couldn't recall any mistake from his side that could lead to such a decision. All the students started feeling bored and requested Choiwon to tell them about his first love. Choiwon shared the story of his first love, but didn't mention the girl's name. However, Young understood that Choiwon's first love was Daewon. Choiwon revealed that recently he met his first love again, and they had started dating. Hearing this, Young got very angry and broke his pencil, which Jiho noticed and started wondering why he is jealous. After school ended, when Young was leaving for home, he overheard Sia talking to her friend. From their conversation, he realized that he was not Damon's first love, which shocked him and made him leave in anger. Sia started wondering what happened to him. Her friend then asked her who her mom's first love actually was. It was revealed that Damon's first love was her husband, and even when Sia was a child, her first love was her dad, Young. While Young was out for a walk, he saw Daewon returning home after shopping. Since he was still angry, he ignored her and walked past her, which made Daewon wonder what was going on. She was carrying a heavy bag which didn't feel right to Young, so he went back and helped her carry the bag. But throughout the way, he didn't speak a single word. Daewon stopped near a cafe and told Ko Yu-young that he could leave now. She took the bag from him and walked inside. Young started wondering why she came there and followed her in. He discovered that Daewon came to meet Choiwon, and he hugged her. Seeing this, Young was shocked and became angry. He started questioning whether Daewon was really having an affair. Daewon didn't like Choiwon hugging her either, and she told him never to do that again. They both sat down and began talking. From that conversation, Daewon understood what Choiwon's intentions were, so she clearly told him that nothing could happen between them. After hearing that, Choiwon's behavior changed completely. He started speaking rudely to Daewon, which made Young very angry. Daewon told Choiwon that she thought he had changed, but he hadn't. Since Choiwon paid the hospital bill, Daewon gave him the money and walked away. Young now understood that Daewon was not having an affair. Choiwon was actually a very cheap person. He had bet with his friends that he would win Daewon over, but lost the bet. Still, he made another bet saying that a beautiful teacher worked at his school and he would impress her. His friends put a lot of money on that bet. The teacher he mentioned was Ms. Eugene. Meanwhile, Jin went to eat a burger and found Aaron already there. Aaron asked him if his friend was really so busy that he couldn't even come to visit his sick daughter. Aaron knew everything because Daeon had told her about all the lies Young told. Jin replied that Aaron's friend was also divorcing his friend without giving any reason. Aaron explained that the divorce was happening because of what took place at the reunion party. Jin wasn't at the reunion, so he didn't know what happened. He sat down next to Aaron and asked her to tell him everything. Aaron told him what happened at the reunion, which shocked Jin. After going home, Jin asked Young how he could do such a thing to Daeon. Young responded by asking what he had done. Jin asked if he didn't remember what happened at the reunion. A flashback then showed what happened 4 months ago at the reunion. All of Young's school friends were there. Everyone had completed their studies and become successful, but Young hadn't finished his education and was working as a repairman. Because of that, everyone indirectly made fun of him and insulted him. It deeply hurt Young and he ended up drinking excessively. Young could only remember things up to a certain point. Jin explained to him what happened afterward.